Another interstellar discovery by NASA. This is amazing. A cave on the moon that could house future astronauts, and there could be hundreds more of these caves. Cave is the deepest known pit on the moon. It's about 250 miles from where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed 55 years ago this month.
From some of our high-resolution images from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, we can actually see pits on the surface of the moon, and it looks like these could be the extensive lava tube network.
Nothing could have prepared me for this discovery. A secret chamber hidden beneath the moon's surface has been uncovered, and what was found inside is beyond imagination. This revelation is shaking the scientific community to its core. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every detail. Let's get into it.
Researchers believe they've discovered a location for a possible future base on the moon. Analysis of NASA data has found a cave believed to be about 80 metres long and 45 metres wide. That's a cool cave. Scientists say it's probably an empty lava tube. It could serve as a moon base for future explorers.
In 2009, while scanning the moon's surface, Japan's Selene spacecraft, charmingly known as Kaguya, stumbled upon a curious hole. Nestled in the soothingly named Mare Tranquillitatis, or Sea of Tranquility, this pit isn't just any lunar pothole. Found at a precise 8.3355 degrees north latitude and 33.22 degrees east longitude, this spot is a mere 400 kilometers from the historic Apollo 11 landing site. The pit itself is quite the spectacle. It is roughly 100 meters wide and about 105 meters deep, with steep walls and a floor that's smoother than a jazz tune, sprinkled with hefty rocks here and there. This hole is believed to be a gateway to an ancient underground lava tube, a relic of volcanic activity from days long past. Fast forward to 2010, when NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter decided to snap some detailed shots, revealing a floor littered with boulders up to 10 meters across and overhangs daringly jutting out from the north, east, and west. Then, in 2024, enter Professors Leonardo Carrere and Lorenzo Bruzzone from the University of Trento. These clever folks took a deeper look using radar data and found that this seemingly bottomless pit might stretch further into the lunar underground, suggesting a hidden cave or tunnel. And why does this matter, you ask? Well, these subterranean hideaways could one day shield astronauts from the moon's less hospitable traits, like its bone-chilling cold, sizzling heat, and pesky radiation. Crowning this pit as the first confirmed lunar cave, it's not just a cool trivia fact. It's a beacon of hope for future moonwalkers looking to set up shop in a place that offers natural protection from solar radiation, cosmic rays, and those annoying micrometeorite impacts. Think of it as the moon's own natural bunker, perfect for longer cosmic stays. Now, just when you thought the moon couldn't get any more intriguing, there's the discovery in the Marius Hills within the Oceanus Procellarum region. In 2009, some eagle-eyed scientists were scanning the moon's surface because, why not, and stumbled upon something rather astonishing in an area known as the Marius Hills. This isn't your typical lunar neighborhood. It's more like the Beverly Hills of volcanic activity on the moon, nestled right in the Oceanus Procellarum region. Thanks to Japan's selenological and engineering explorer, affectionately dubbed Kaguya, they discovered a gaping hole on the lunar surface. But this wasn't just any hole. Oh no, this was the Marius Hills Hole, MHH, stretching about 65 meters wide and 90 meters deep, a celestial wonder. Scientists reckon this hole is a skylight peering into an underground lava tube left behind by volcanic fiestas from yesteryears. Obviously, these tubes could be the moon's old subway system, minus the trains. Now, the plot thickens when NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter took a closer peek and revealed a smooth floor beneath the hole, scattered with some sizable lunar boulders. The walls? They're as steep as they come, with overhangs that whisper promises of larger, hidden underground spaces. Radar data later confirmed that these aren't just empty promises. There's a whole network of these tubes sprawling beneath the surface, potentially perfect as lunar bunkers for future astronauts seeking refuge from the harsh moonlight. From moonwalks to secret World War II complexes, let's zip back to Earth and to 1996, where
that a gentleman, Mr. Dennis Woods, was visiting Gibraltar and had obviously heard that Stay Behind Cave had been discovered.
where another intriguing discovery came to light in the Rock of Gibraltar. In December 1996, a group of cave enthusiasts from the Gibraltar Caving Group, Richard Durrell, Jean-Paul Latin, Mark Ainsworth, and Ian Bramble, were drawn to the Rock of Gibraltar like bees to honey, fueled by juicy rumors of a secret chamber buried within. Locals whispered about a mysterious Stay Behind Cave, a wartime hideout meant for some serious spy business. Their curiosity piqued. The team delved into the labyrinth of tunnels, caves, and cliffs, betting that any spy-worthy setup would need a perfect view. Smart thinking, right? They zeroed in on the upper rock area near Lord Airy's Battery, figuring it was the perfect spot to keep an eye on both the Mediterranean Sea and the Bay of Gibraltar. So, on December 26, 1996, a strange gust of wind hit them as they were navigating a tunnel. Odd for such a confined space, don't you think? This anomaly led them to peel back a section of corrugated metal sheets on the tunnel wall, revealing a bricked-up wall. Behind it, a doorway to the past, quite literally, as it opened up into a chamber that had been out of touch for over 50 years. Inside, they found a setup ready to house 6 people for the long haul. The main room was a cozy 45 feet long, 16 feet wide, and 8 feet tall. It came equipped with 2 stealthy observation posts, one peering west over the bay and the other east towards the sea. They even found a bicycle rigged to a generator for power, a massive water tank to outlast any siege, and cork-lined floors for that extra touch of spy-grade insulation. After keeping it under wraps for 3 months, the group documented their find in a snazzy 28-minute documentary called Operation Tracer: Stay Behind Cave, which hit the public domain in April 2012. The icing on the cake? Dr. Bruce Cooper, a spry 94-year-old who was meant to bunker down there during the war, gave his stamp of approval in 2008, linking the tales of old with the cold, hard stone of the chamber. Now, while the Gibraltar folks were digging through their rocky revelations, another set of miners halfway across the world in Nacre, Chihuahua, Mexico, were about to strike big themselves. But their find was a bit different. Think less James Bond and more National Geographic. In April 2000, while chiseling away deep below the Earth's surface, these miners unearthed a hidden chamber that wasn't on any map. Inside this cavern, which would later be dubbed the Cave of the Crystals, were the largest selenite crystals ever found, some stretching up to a staggering 12 meters long and weighing around 55 tons. Now, the Nacre mine wasn't exactly new to the crystal game. Back in 1910, the Cave of Swords was uncovered within the same mining complex, flaunting crystals about a meter long. Impressive, sure, but they were practically toothpicks compared to the behemoths in the Cave of the Crystals. The sheer scale of these new crystals dwarfed any previous finds and sparked a frenzy of excitement and curiosity. So, how did these geological giants come to be? Right below the cave is a cozy magma chamber, keeping the groundwater toasty. This water wasn't just hot, it was rich with sulfide ions. Over time, oxygenated water from the surface mingled with this mineral soup, turning sulfides into sulfates that eventually settled out as anhydrite. When temperatures took a dip below 58 degrees Celsius, those anhydrite layers dissolved, setting the stage for gypsum crystals to start forming. And boy, they grew over 500,000 years. These crystals reached monumental sizes. Exploring this cave wasn't a walk in the park. With temperatures hitting a sweaty 58 degrees Celsius and humidity levels high enough to fog up your glasses instantly, humans could only handle about 10 minutes inside without turning into a puddle. Scientists had to suit up in refrigerated gear and lug around cold breathing systems just to study these crystalline beasts. The discovery had scientists and crystal buffs from all corners of the globe flocking to NACA, eager to learn more about these natural wonders. The research done here has shed light on some pretty intricate details of crystallography and Earth's geological ballet. But here's the catch. Keeping the cave accessible was a tricky business. These crystals grew up underwater, and the only reason we got to see them was because the mining company had been pumping out water to keep the cave dry. Once the mine closed in 2015 and the pumps stopped, the cave began to fill back up, reverting to its natural watery state. This has preserved the crystals in all their glory, but it's also put a lid on further exploration and study. So, while the cave's crystals remain a breathtaking sight, they're back to being the exclusive viewing pleasure of Mother Nature herself. While the Crystal Caves chapter might be closing, another underground tale unfolds in Oaxaca, where the ancient city of Mitla, known as the place of the dead to the Zapotec people, hides secrets beneath its feet. Back in 1674, the adventurous Dominican friar Francisco de Burgoa must have felt like he was onto something big. He wandered through Mitla and documented an extensive subterranean labyrinth lying right beneath those sacred grounds. His records mention 4 interconnected chambers beneath the temples, which supposedly served as the final resting places of high priests and kings. And get this, the 4th chamber wasn't just any old room, it led to a massive cavern that stretched for leagues under the earth, shrouded in mystery and supported by pillars. But, as is the way with such epic tales, the entrances got sealed off, the locations lost to the sands of time. Fast forward to 2022, and cue the entrance of Project Leoba. This wasn't just a group of shovel-happy archaeologists. This was a multidisciplinary dream team, armed to the teeth with the latest in non-invasive geophysical tech. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, electrical resistivity tomography, ERT, and seismic noise tomography, SNT, were just some of the gadgets in their arsenal. Their mission? To peel back the layers of centuries without so much as scratching the surface. Their big break came at the Church of San Pablo Apostol, a 16th century architectural marvel sitting pretty on top of what used to be a significant Zapotec temple. Legends and historical breadcrumbs had long hinted that the gateway to Leoba was snoozing somewhere beneath this very church. When the team's scanners got to work, they hit the jackpot. A huge void right beneath the main altar, stretching about 15 meters in length and 10 meters in width. And as if that wasn't enough to drop jaws, further scans showed a complex network of tunnels spider webbing in every direction, some burrowing as deep as 30 meters. This discovery didn't just confirm the existence of these fabled tunnels, it aligned almost eerily well with what Friar Burgoa scribbled down all those centuries ago. There it was. The hard evidence that those myths weren't just tales spun by the ancient Zapotec to scare their kids at night. They were real, tangible, and right beneath everyone's feet. Now, if you think digging up ancient secrets in Mexico is wild, wait until you hear about what's happening a bit farther north, under the frosty vastness of Greenland's ice. In April 2024, NASA scientists were just chilling above Greenland, zipping around with their fancy radar gadgets on a mission to map the ice. The gang, led by Chad Green and Alex Gardner of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, was out there testing the uninhabited aerial vehicle synthetic aperture radar. They hoped to peek at the icy innards down to the bedrock, but Mother Nature had a little surprise waiting under the frosty covers. During one of these high-flying adventures, their radar picks up some weird blips. Alex Gardner was like, "We were looking for the bed of the ice," and out pops Camp Century. We didn't know what it was at first. And just like that, they stumbled upon the ghost of the Cold War, Camp Century, or as it's eerily called, the City Under the Ice. This relic from 1959 was tucked away by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, boasting 21 interconnected tunnels stretching nearly 3,000 meters and buried under a snug blanket of about 100 feet of ice. Now, this isn't your everyday find. The radar imagery these NASA brainiacs got their hands on wasn't just another ice sheet snapshot. Nope, it was a time capsule, a full-blown architectural diagram of a buried military base that had been chilling under the radar, literally, for decades. This accidental peek into the past not only highlighted a forgotten fragment of Cold War shenanigans, but also threw a spotlight on just how nifty modern radar tech can be at uncovering secrets that aren't meant to stay buried. And here's where it gets even spicier. As our planet heats up and those vast ice sheets decide to slim down, these hidden gems aren't just historical artifacts, they're ticking environmental time bombs. Who knows what's left down there? The rediscovery of Camp Century opens up a whole can of worms about what else might emerge as the ice melts away. It's like a Cold War mystery thawing out before our eyes, giving us all a chilly reminder of what's been lying in wait under the ice. Now, speaking of digging up the past, let's head over to Dartmoor, England, where something equally fascinating was unfolding. Just a month later, in May 2024, the Dartmoor National Park Authority's archaeologists unearthed a burial chamber, a cist dating back nearly 4,000 years to around 1800 BCE on Cut Hill. This historical find started when Paul Rendell, a local historian with a keen eye, noticed something unusual poking out of the peat, eroded by time itself. Sensing they were onto something big, the DNPA jumped into action with a full investigation. After some initial surveys and a bit of help from radiocarbon dating on some ancient charcoal, they confirmed the cist's old age. Come August 2024, the excavation team, led by DNPA's very own doctor Lee Bray, started their adventure on Cut Hill, standing tall at 603 meters. Despite being slapped around by the unpredictable weather and the site's remote location, the team was all in, driven by dreams of shedding light on Dartmoor's secretive prehistoric days. The moment of truth came when they lifted the 3 hefty granite capstones that guarded the cist. Inside, this ancient treasure chest, about 1 meter square and dwarfing the previously found Whitehorse Hill cist, was packed with carefully shaped and cut wood pieces. This wooden puzzle had everyone scratching their heads, wondering about the people who placed them there and their untold stories. Flashback to 2011, and you've got a similar scene during the Whitehorse Hill cist excavation, also on Dartmoor. That dig turned up the cremated remains of a young adult, cozied up with a collection of artifacts like a bearskin pelt, some snazzy textiles, and a necklace strung with beads from clay, shale, tin, and amber. Given the size of our new find at Cut Hill, who knows what other historical treasures were waiting to be revealed? With the precision of a surgeon, the team wrapped up and sealed the chamber, ensuring nothing was disturbed. They then carted it off the moor with a special all-terrain vehicle, handing it over to the capable hands at the Wiltshire Conservation and Museums Advisory Service. Here, it will undergo a meticulous micro-excavation and further analysis, teasing out the secrets of the past bit by bit. Now, as if unearthing ancient British secrets wasn't enough, let's jet over to Egypt, where 1993 brought its own set of revelations within the Great Pyramid of Giza. Enter Rudolf Gantenbrink, a German engineer with a knack for robotics, who was about to make headlines with a tiny robot that could Upuaut 2. The Great Pyramid, that massive stone enigma, has been standing tall for millennia, sparking more questions than answers about how and why it was built. Gantenbrink and his team were initially on a mission to improve air circulation within the pyramid. But let's be real. You can't just send a robot into an ancient pyramid and not expect it to find something cool, right? So there they were, navigating the so-called air shafts from the Queen's Chamber when Upuaut 2, cruising up the southern shaft, hit a literal roadblock about 213 feet in. The block, a polished limestone slab with cheeky copper fittings that seemed to tease, "Grab here," wasn't just any old block. It quickly got dubbed Gantenbrink's Door. The plot thickens with this door-like slab. Was it just a fancy ancient Egyptian keep out sign, or was it guarding Pharaoh's secret treasures? The theories ran wild, from symbolic barriers to a direct path to hidden chambers filled with untold riches. The catch? The door stayed shut, and the secrets behind it remained just those secrets. Not one to give up. Gantenbrink turned his robotic attention to the northern shaft, but let's just say it was no walk in the park. With twists and turns that would rival any modern thriller, the robot faced an architectural brain teaser that ultimately led to a strategic retreat to avoid a robotic casualty. While some might say the discoveries were just a tease, they actually sparked a renewed fascination with the pyramids, blending ancient history with modern technology in a quest that captured imaginations worldwide. Now, while you're still reeling from robotic adventures in Egypt, let's drift a bit further down the Nile to the Valley of the Kings, where another less high-tech but equally thrilling discovery was about to unfold. You see, despite being a playground for archaeologists, this royal necropolis hadn't coughed up all its secrets just yet. Enter Howard Carter, an archaeologist with a hunch and a whole lot of persistence, who in 1922 unearthed the tomb of Tutankhamun, a name that would soon be known around the globe. Howard Carter's fascination with Egypt began in 1891, when he first arrived as a young artist to document tomb artworks. Over the years, he honed his archaeological skills and, in 1907, began collaborating with George Herbert, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon, a wealthy patron with a keen interest in Egyptology. Their partnership focused on excavating sites in the Valley of the Kings. By 1922, after several seasons of fruitless searching, Lord Carnarvon considered withdrawing funding. However, Carter persuaded him to support one final season, convinced that Tutankhamun's tomb lay undiscovered. His determination was based on artifacts bearing the young pharaoh's name found in previous digs, suggesting a nearby burial site. On November 4th, 1922, Carter's team made a breakthrough. While clearing debris near the entrance to the tomb of Ramesses VI, they uncovered a series of steps leading downwards. Realizing the potential significance, Carter cleared the staircase. It revealed a sealed doorway adorned with cartouches, oval inscriptions containing royal names. Recognizing Tutankhamun's name among them, Carter was elated yet cautious. He immediately sent a telegram to Lord Carnarvon, who was in England at the time, stating, "At last have made a wonderful discovery in Valley, a magnificent tomb with seals intact. Recovered same for your arrival. Congratulations." Carnarvon and his daughter, Lady Evelyn Herbert, hastened to Egypt, arriving on November 23rd. Together with Carter, they prepared to explore the tomb's interior. On November 26, 1922, in the presence of Egyptian officials, Carter made a small breach in the doorway. Holding a candle, he peered inside. As his eyes adjusted, he saw glinting treasures, statues, chests, and other artifacts seemingly untouched for millennia. When Carnarvon asked if he could see anything, Carter famously replied, "Yes, wonderful things." The team entered the antechamber, meticulously documenting and conserving each item to prevent deterioration. They discovered 3 more sealed chambers: the annex, the burial chamber, and the treasury. The burial chamber housed a sarcophagus containing 3 nested coffins, the innermost of which was solid gold. It held Tutankhamun's mummy adorned with a golden death mask. Now hop over to the jungles of Chiapas, Mexico, where the ancient Maya city of Palenque lay draped in mystery. In 1952, Alberto Ruz Luillier, a Mexican archaeologist with a flair for the dramatic, hit the jackpot in the dense jungles of Chiapas, Mexico. This wasn't just any old dirt he was digging through. It was the Temple of the Inscriptions at the ancient Maya city of Palenque, where he unearthed the tomb of King Pakal the Great. Picture this: a grand pyramid cloaked in hieroglyphic stories, just waiting to spill its centuries-old secrets. Alberto, a Paris-born dynamo who became a Mexican citizen in 1940, had a hunch about this place. His instincts were spot on because a series of stone slabs beneath the temple's floor were just out of sync with the rest. Cue the meticulous excavation that lasted over 4 years. Imagine chipping away day after day, and then, boom. On June 15, 1952, a sealed chamber with a massive limestone sarcophagus intricately carved with cosmic doodles lay before him. Inside, draped in jade and mystery, was Kainich Janab Pakal, a Maya ruler who knew how to make an entrance, even in the afterlife. Ascending to the throne at the ripe age of 12, Pakal ruled until he was 80, leaving behind a legacy that Ruse's discovery brought back to the spotlight. This was a game changer, shattering our assumptions about Maya burial rites and giving us a peek into their art, religion, and politics. Fast forward to 2018, and it's not just the Mayans who had a few tricks buried up their sleeves. Over in Egypt, the Saqqara necropolis was about to give up its own ghost. Here, Egyptian archaeologists stumbled upon something extraordinary: the untouched tomb of Wati, a high-ranking priest from the 5th dynasty who was about 4,400 years old. Dr. Mostafa Waziri and his tenacious team were the masterminds behind this archaeological marvel. They dug through layers of history until they hit gold, or, in this case, hieroglyphs. Now, a sealed entrance with hieroglyphs spelled out Wadi's life and times under Pharaoh Neferkare Kakai. When the team cracked open that time capsule, they were greeted by walls bursting with vibrant reliefs. There's Wadi hanging out with his wife, Wiret Ptah, and their 4 kids, not to mention his mom, Merit Meen. It's like a snapshot from an ancient family album, showcasing everything from hunting escapades to sailing and sacred rituals. And let's not overlook the 55 statues chilling in niches around the tomb, each a silent testament to the artistic genius of that era. Inside, the archaeologists found 5 burial shafts, and let's just say not all treasure chests were full. The first shaft was a no-show, empty, but the rest? They cradled human remains, hinting that Wati and his family might be there. Though lacking the typical pharaoh-level bling, these burials had their own mysteries, like signs of a possible ancient epidemic. Dr. Amira Shaheen, waving her rheumatologist magic wand, suggested diseases like malaria could be the culprits. The tale of Wati made such waves, it even landed a gig on Netflix's 2020 documentary, Secrets of the Saqqara Tomb, giving us a front-row seat to the excavation drama and the nitty-gritty of decoding ancient lives. Now, if you thought that was a blast from the past, let's dial back to 1995. Deep in Egypt's dusty Valley of the Kings, a team led by the intrepid American Egyptologist Dr. Kent R. Weeks unearthed Tomb KV5, the resting place of a bunch of Pharaoh Ramesses II's kids. Now, calling this significant is like saying the pyramids are kind of pointy. This was a monumental find in the world of modern Egyptology. Dr. Weeks, a Washington native born in 1941, always had his eyes set on the mysteries of ancient Egypt. After sharpening his brain with degrees in anthropology and archaeology at the University of Washington, he first zipped over to Egypt in 1963. Fast forward a couple of decades, sprinkled with various academic gigs, including a spot at the American University in Cairo. And voila, he's launching the Theban Mapping Project, TMP, in 1978. The goal? Map out the Theban necropolis to keep it from becoming just another forgotten sandcastle. KV5 first came to light in 1825, thanks to British explorer James Burton, but he barely scratched the surface. Then along came Howard Carter, who you might recall as the discoverer of King Tut's tomb, used KV5 as a handy storage closet around 1902, totally oblivious to its real treasure. Fast forward to 1987, and Dr. Weeks couldn't shake the feeling that KV5 was holding out on him. His hunch paid off big time in '95, after years of removing debris left by ancient rainfall and navigating corridors crammed with history. His team wasn't just clearing out an old space, they were revealing a sprawling complex of about 70 rooms, echoing the rumored number of Ramesses II's offspring. This ongoing dig not only sheds light on 19th dynasty burial customs, but also showcases the ancient Egyptians' knack for monumental architecture, turning what could have been just another day at the office into a rediscovery of historical proportions. What do you think about these astonishing discoveries? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If this revelation amazed you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping space discoveries, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.